let's begin today's session. And what's the agenda for the day? What are we going to discuss? So today we are going to talk about relationships. What exactly do we mean by relationships? What are the different type of relationships we have in Salesforce, and how do we manage relationships? How do we configure relationships? Now, when I say relationships, so relationship means that how two objects will be related or connected with each other. So whenever we have to work on an application or whenever we have to design any project or design an application in Salesforce, we used to create application and objects and fields, but now it's time to relate or connect the objects with each other. Let me ask you a question. For example, we got a position object and one candidate object. Any relations, like, can you think of any connectivity between them? Can you think of any connectivity between position and candidate that we can connect both of them together? Is it is it possible? Can we do that if you want to connect them together?
F- So for one candidate can apply for multiple positions, while for one position, multiple candidate can apply.
Yeah. So that means it's possible to add a relationship, but the issue is if we connect both the objects together, then then what happen? We need to add duplicate records in both of them. For example, let's suppose one candidate wants for one candidate will be going to apply for multiple positions. So it will be like this on a candidate object, candidate number one, and then we just add a reference to the position object that this candidate register for this position. Now, if I want to like if this candidate is going to apply another for another positions or for other positions as well, so we have to add duplicate records for that candidate, right? In same manner, if it's a position, so let's say position. So for one position can be applied by many candidates. So again, sales manager, this position is this position is applied by this candidate number one or candidate number two. So in this case, we need to add duplicate records in both the objects. For example, let's take an example like this, and we'll try to understand that. Let's say there is an option called there is an object called product product ID, product name, product ID, product name, and let's say price. And one more table, customer ID, customer name, okay, customer ID, customer name, and other identifications. We have product ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and product name, let's say A, B, C, D. Four products and their price 20, 30, 20, 30, 45, 60. We have customer ID, 1, 2, 3, 4 customers. Customer name, PQRS. Or let's say Sam, Mike, Peter, Paul. Four customers. Now, one customer, Sam, can place, can buy multiple products. So this Sam can buy product A. Let's suppose if I just add a reference, so I need to add a yeah, I need to add a reference here. Like what reference? I need to connect it in the. I just add a reference for the product ID. So that's this Sam purchased product ID number one. If Sam wants to buy four more products, so it should be like this: Sam order product one again. Sam buy product number three. Sam order product number two, like this. So don't you think that we have to add duplicate records for that Sam, right? We need to add duplicate records in this case. So in order to avoid duplicate records, what do we do? What should we do then in order to avoid duplicate records? So in order to avoid this, what we used to do, we used to create a third table called order table, and in this order table we'll say order one. This order is placed by which customer and for which product. So we can say order one, order two. So this order is placed by let's say customer one and for product two. Order 2 is placed by customer 1 and for product 1, like this. So here we can add we can add customer IDs multiple times, we can add product ID multiple times, but the best thing is that we don't have to recreate the records again and again. The records are already created in the customer table and in the product table. And what we'll be doing, we add a connectivity between or reference between this table with the product table and reference between the order and the customer table. This is a kind of a relationship. Okay, this is a kind of a relationship, and this is called many to many relationship. Right? This is called many to many relationship. So when it comes to relationship in Salesforce, so we used to have multiple relationships. Basically, let me open the relationship. What are the relationships I have? Let me open that. And in Salesforce, basically in a CRM, especially in Salesforce, we have mainly two types of relationships: one to many relationship and many to many relationship. And one to many relationship is inbuilt. Inbuilt means it's already there in Salesforce. Only thing is we have to configure it. But many to many relationship, it's a custom relationship. And okay, it's a custom relationship. We have to configure it from the scratch. And in order to build many to many relationship, we need to use junction objects. So basically, in order to configure many to many relationship, we take help of junction object. Junction object. So we use junction object in order to set up, in order to configure many to many relationships. I'll show you practically how do we set up junction object and many to many relationship or one to many relationship. The relationships always known as parent-child relationship. For example, you all are familiar with the standard functionality like sales, you all are familiar with account, contact, opportunities, right? So when we say account, for example, if I say account, let me open an account and let me open contact and opportunities. So my question to you is, for we can for one account, can we have many contacts?
Yes. Yes.
Or is okay, or is it possible that one contact can be mapped with multiple accounts?
Yes. That's also possible.
How is it possible? If that means
One.
contact means one contact cannot map with multiple accounts.
No. One contact can have on multiple accounts, right?
No, not possible. See, what are contacts? See, account is the company, or account is the company name or company details with whom we are doing business. Okay, and contact means the stakeholder name or the key person in that company whom I'm going to connect. So, can you work in multiple companies together at the same time?
Possible, right? Maybe if a banking sector, one person can have a multiple bank accounts or multiple accounts.
Not person.
So
See, person,
m-
I'm talking about can you work in multiple companies? I'm talking about the key person in that company, not the customer. If it's a customer, so that customer it's an individual customer.
Theoretically, no.
Can you get
Practically, there
salary?
are possibilities. Theoretically, no. Yes. As per your concept, no.
Hmm. But if you're talking about the individual customers, so see if it's an individual customer, then it's okay. Then one customer, it's an individual one, and that customer is not related with any company. Okay, it's an individual customer. But let's suppose if it's an employee, okay, or if we are associating with the companies for to get the projects. So in one company we can have many employees, but one employee cannot work with many companies at the same time,
mm,
right? So if let's
Mm.
suppose today you are working in a company, in future if you change your company, so what happened? You will not okay. So what happened? You will quit your job from the current company and then you will join a new company. It's not like that. You cannot join both the companies together. Even in practically also it's very difficult. Get it? But if you are a freelancer, then it's possible you can work with if you can work with many companies together. You can work with many projects.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, for example, let's take an example of a school. One student in one class, we can have many students, but one student cannot attend many. One student cannot sit in many classes together, right? So
Mm.
that's why when we click on accounts, when I click on account and click on new, see there is no information about account here. See this. And one thing I mentioned is the parent-child relationship. So the most important thing while setting up a relationship is we have to identify the parent and the child object. So as you can see here, we have account names, parent account. Parent account means the like you can say we have a main company and then the sister concerns, right? So that's the account name is there, account number, account site, but there is no information about contact here. See this. Billing address, additional. There is no information about contact. But at the other hand, if I open a contact and click on new contact here, and here in this contact, I got this account name. Here, this account name. I can add account name. I can select account name here. Is that clear? Now, in this case, how do we identify which will be a parent object and which will be a child object? So in this case, account will be the parent object and candidate will be the child object because candidate is going to link with the parent. And okay, and candidate will be going to use the candidate will be going to use the properties from the parent object. Okay, so here there is no information about account contact. So this information is only like here we have information only about accounts, and here we can have an option to relate it or to associate it with an account, but only one account at a time. So if I'm adding one contact, so this contact can map only with one account. Now, and see, this field is not a required field. It's not a mandatory field. So it is possible that I can skip this. For example, I just registered a new record and I simply save this. So it's not necessary to connect or to associate it with an account series. Why? Because contact means the key person name who will connect with us to place the orders or to buy the products. So it may possible that that contact is an individual customer. He is not the okay, he is not related with any company, or the billing will be done on the customer name. And if the billing will be done on the company name, then it considered to be as then the contact the account information will be needed or the company information will be required. For example, if I'm doing retail trainings, okay, if I'm doing retail trainings or you will be doing retail trainings, so the billing will be done in your name. Who will be paying for your training? You will be paying or your company will be paying? Your company will be paying for your trainings. You will be paying for that, right? So if you will be paying, then what happens? The billing will be done in your name. And it doesn't matter. You provide your company name or you don't provide your company name, that doesn't matter. Not really required. But let's suppose you say that, let's suppose you mention that I need a billing in my company name. So then what happened? I need the company information also. Or else, let's suppose if we require a corporate training. Okay, if we require a corporate training, so in that, okay, for that particular training, for the corporate training, for whom I'm going to connect? Like, am I going to connect all the participants one by one, or there will be a key person with whom I'm going to connect, and he will manage everything. He will take care of the training and sharing the meeting IDs and collecting all the participants. So he will be the person. He will be the key person who will coordinate between trainer and the participants, and he will manage everything. So that person information will be added in a contact, and then I need to add the account information. Is that clear? Now,
Yeah.
one contact can give one contact can give many opportunities to us or not. Like one customer can place multiple orders here. One customer can buy many orders. In same manner, one contact can give many opportunities. One contact can place multiple opportunities or can have multiple opportunities. See this again, opportunities. In this case, contact will be the parent and opportunities will be the child. One customer can register multiple cases, right? One contact, one customer can register multiple cases. Again, contact will be parent and cases will be child. Parent-child relationship, right? One contact can be mapped in many campaigns. So I can use the contact information in order to in campaigns. We can plan campaigns, and while sending the campaigns details of a marketing, I can use the same customer detail multiple times. Reusability: register once, reuse many. Okay. For example, if you want to buy some product, what will you do? You're not you Will you register every time? Will you sign up a new account every time, or you sign up once and reuse that account? You register once, you sign up once and reuse it. What will you do? You will register once, and then every time you use the same credentials to log in into the shopping to the e-commerce cloud, and then make the payment and like to place the orders. So this means that's the relationship, and the relationship is parent-child relationship. So in Salesforce, we have relationships, mainly two types of relationship: one-to-many relationship and many-to-many relationship. Both are parent-child relationship, parent object, child object. But it is very important whenever you get a requirement to build a relationship in Salesforce, or if you are going to add a relationship in Salesforce, it is very important to identify which will be a parent object and which will be a child object. And there are certain similarities and rules. So we'll talk about that. Now in Salesforce, we can set up one-to-many relationship or many-to-many relationship by using lookup relationship field or master detail relationship field. So that's why whenever we try to add a new field in an object, you will get an option lookup relationship field and master detail relationship field. What is the difference between both of them, and what are the similarities between both of them? So the similarities are both are one-to-many relationship by default. So both lookup and master detail both will be one-to-many relationship by default. In both relationship, the relationship field always created on the child object. Now, if you look at the account and contact here, as you can see on account, okay, on account, we do not have any information about contact, right? We don't have any information about contact. Get it? We don't have. But if I click on contact and click on new contact, see this. If you open a contact, so there is a reference for the account name. So that means the relationship field always placed on the child object. Got it? So we always place the relationship field on a child object. This proves this point. So in both relationship, the relationship field always created on the child object. Clear? And the third point is very, very important. And what's the third point? The relationship field always point to standard field whose API name is name on the parent object. Okay, so it is very important to remember these points. So the relationship field always point to the standard field whose API name is name. If you remember, whenever we create a custom object, so it automatically creates 5 standard fields, and out of 5 standard fields, there is one standard field which is known as record name, and the API name of the field name of that field is name. So we have created 2 objects right now, the position and candidate. Okay, we created 2 objects right now, position, candidate. Let me show you. When I click on position, when I open position object properties, which field field name is name. Let's check it out. So here we have fields like position name, open date, close date, and many other fields. And if I just check the field name, when I click on fields and relationship, When I click on fields and relationship, so we can see position name. What's the API name? Name, right? In same manner, if we click on candidate object, so on candidate object, the candidate number is the standard key. Okay, so what is the candidate number is the standard field whose API name is name. So this means whenever we try to add a relationship field, whether it's a lookup relationship or it's a master detail relationship, it always point to the standard field whose API name is name on the parent object. So it always connect to the standard field whose API name is name on the parent object. So this we need to remember while configuring relationship, while setting up relationship. We need to manage that. We need to configure that accordingly. Clear to you?
Yeah.
So these are the similarities. Now, what are the differences? Let's talk about the differences. So the first difference is the first difference between lookup and master detail is lookup is not mandatory, not required by default. Mandatory means it is not required. You can see on a contact object, like here on a contact object, we added we created a new record, new contact, but account is not required. We skip this value. We have an option to select a value, but we skipped it, and still the record gets created. Or even if I try to if I edit and save records, it is acceptable. Okay, it's accepted. That means adding value in that lookup is not required. It is by default it is not needed, but while setting up the relationship, we can configure that. If it is required, we can configure. Okay, if it is required, we can configure that. Right? So that is the first difference. And the master detail relationship, it is always required. So master detail relationship always required. That means if it's a master detail relationship, we cannot skip the record, or we cannot create a record without adding any values into that, without selecting any values. So it is mandatory to add a value here. First difference. Second difference, deleting parent record in lookup relationship, it won't delete the child record. That means when we will be deleting the parent record in a lookup relationship, so if I delete the parent record or master record, it won't delete the related child record. Okay, it won't delete the child record. Whereas in a master detail relationship, if I delete the parent record, it will remove its related child record. We'll see this practically with the examples. Okay, this one. And the last difference is we can add up to 40 lookup fields on a child object, but we can add only two master detail relationship field on a child object in a master detail relationship. So that means on one child object it can connect with 40 parents if it's a lookup, but if it's a master detail, if you are setting up a master detail, so one child object can connect only with two parent objects. So these are the similarities and differences between lookup and master detail relationship. So quickly take a screenshot of it, everyone.
Taken.
Yeah, done. Okay. So these are the similarities and differences. And while setting up relationship, always remember these points. So this will help you to build a relationship or to configure a relationship whenever you are going to add it, whenever you are going to configure that. So if you repeat, so these points will help you to build a relationship. Now let's take an example, and what we'll do, we'll be going to see the examples of both lookup and master detail relationship one by one, and we'll see it practically. And for this, what I'm going to do is I am going to create a new custom object. Okay, I'm going to add a new object in Salesforce in our application, and that object is I'll call that object as job application. So I label that object as job application. job application, job applications, and that this should be an auto number. So job application number, auto number, J, and this. That's the format. And I scroll down, check the required options, and click on save. Right? And once we click on save, we need to register. We need to add a tab. So let me quickly create a tab also. And next, let's complete these. Let's complete this result. Next, and I want to make this object available only for our custom application. Save. Let me refresh. And in this object, I'm going to add one field quickly, and that field is called a status. So I'm just going to add one field. It's a pick list. So it's a pick list here, and I set that field value as status, and the values I'm going to add new, open, new, on hold, accepted, or on hold I can say yeah, accepted or rejected, and I use first value as the default one, always require a value, and next, save. So object is ready with one custom field. Job application, click on new job application, save this record. But my question is, this record, is it a complete record? This, like, is this record is giving you the complete information? And if it is not giving you complete information, what information will be missing here?
For which position he applied and what's the who has applied. Both are important.
Both are in, both information will not be available. So that means we have, so it's an incomplete record. And what informations are missing? So we'll be missing informations like that who submitted this job application, which candidate. So we don't have the candidate information, and this job application is for which position. So these two informations will be missing. Now we have two approaches to do that. Number one, if you want to do that, what we can do, we can add a field. We can add a text field. Okay, we can add a text field, input field, and let's suppose while creating the application, while we'll be creating an application, okay, so we'll be adding a field, and what we'll do, let's suppose if I want to apply for a position, I want to apply for a position. So what I do is I copy the sales manager and paste it in that field. Do you think so? This will be a correct approach? So every time we copy the position name and then paste it here, or we should get a list here to select the position we want to apply. Which is the best one? Like add the position names manually or select the position names from a list. Which is more user friendly?
Select the position with the right approach.
Select the position names. So that means we want, so what we are trying to do now, we would like to build a relationship between two objects, the job application and position object, because we would like to get the position information on a job application. So now, which object will act as a parent and which object will act as a child? Which will be a parent object and which will be a child object?
Position is a parent,
According
job is a child.
Okay. And why you say that? How you decide that that position will be parent and job application will be child? Why not job application will be parent and position will be child?
Because one position for multiple people can apply.
That's right. So for one position, we can receive many job applications. We can have many job applications. Okay. So So for, we identify the parent and the child object. That position will be parent and job application will be child. And right now I'm going to build a lookup relationship. Okay, so I'm going to configure a lookup relationship for testing purpose. So as per the rule, okay, as per the rule, the relationship field always stated on the child object. That means we need to add a relationship field on child object. And which is the child object? Job application is a child object. So therefore, we will be going to add a relationship field on child object. So we'll be going to add a new field on child object. So I just select lookup relationship. See, I'm on job application. I select lookup relationship. Click on next. Step number 2, we have to select the related object. Related means we have to select the parent object here. Okay, we need to select the parent object, and my parent object is position object. Okay, my parent object will be position object. And next. Now, the third option, this one. The relationship field always point to the standards field whose API name is named on the parent object. That means we always have to point. So because we are going to add a field, the field will be going to place on a child object, and that field always point to the standards field whose API name is named. First of all, it always point to the standard field, not to the custom field. Never. It never happens that the field on a child object can refer or can connect with or can associate it with a child with a custom field. It always relate with the standard field whose API name is name or whose field name is name. So now on position object, because see, that's a label thing, label and field label. So this will be the label which will be visible here on a job application object. So right now we have job application number status, and what happened? The relationship field will be the relationship will be placed on the job application. What will be the label? Okay, so we have to display a label, and as I mentioned that it always point to the standard field whose API name is name. So what I'm doing is because on position object, this is a standard field, record name field whose the API, the field name is name. So I just set the same label, position name. And remember one thing, this is a label. You can add any label, doesn't matter. Even if you give anything else instead of position name, if I give, let's say, position location, or if I say position salary, if I say salary, or even if I give my name also, that's just a label. It has nothing to do with the field. That means you can give any label. I can give XYZ, or I can give your name or my name. It's okay. But when we click on that field, it automatically fetch the position names. It automatically displays the position name in that list, in that drop down. Okay. So this is just a label. So it's okay. This is just a label. So it is not going to make any impact on that. So therefore, what I can do, I use here position name because I know that on the position object, this the field which it is going to map, the label is position name, right? See, as I mentioned here, this option, lookup is not mandatory. It is not required. Actually, it is not required by default. But we have an option to set it required. See this. By default, it is not needed. But if we want, we can set this. Always required. We can set this always required. There is an option called lookup filter option. What exactly this lookup filter is? Right now, you can see how many positions are there? 3 positions. So when the relationship field will be placed on a job application object, and when we click on that relationship field, it will list out all, it will display all the positions we have. So there are 3 records, it will display all these 3 position names. But now what I want is, I would like to display only those positions whose status equals to open. So that means on a child object, the relationship field, the position relationship field, it should display only those position record whose status equals to open. So we need to add a lookup filter. See, this is a lookup filter. What is a lookup filter? It is used to apply a filter on the lookup object, lookup field, and the output, the values which is going to display in that field will be filtered value. So like right now I'm skipping this, I'm not adding it, and I'll show you without filter and with filter. So right now this, I don't add any filter. I skip this, click on next and next, next, and save this. Let's refresh job application. So the field is created. Let me refresh this job application object. So you can see I got position name. Now when I click on edit, position name, I can see all the position names. But out of 3 position names, this sales manager position is already closed. So do you think that we will allow the candidates to submit a job application for the position which is already closed? Can you apply? Can you apply for a job which is already closed by the company?
No.
Definitely no. So what we have to do now, either we manually tell them, okay, okay, that this is closed, you cannot apply, or we can do like this. Let's suppose the user selects sales manager. Okay, then what happened? The job application is submitted, and while we will be shortlisting the job, while we'll be shortlisting the profile, we found that this candidate applied for the position which is already closed by the company, which is already over. So what we'll do? We will put this job application in a you can say in a dead folder, like in a not a okay, maybe in a rejected folder, in a rejected directory. So therefore, instead of taking so much of pain, why don't we filter the record here only? So how do we do that? For this, we can take help of lookup filter. See, this is a lookup record. This is a lookup position. So I click on edit, and I'm going to add a lookup filter on this field, position name and lookup filter. I expand this filter. I'm going to add a filter here. So I would like to add a filter on. Okay, here I would like to apply a filter, and I would like to apply a filter on position. So I select position name, which field, position, status field. So I would like to display only those position whose status equals to open. So position status equals to, and we just add a value equals to open, and it's just selected. So what we are doing, we applying a filter here. Save this. Let me refresh, reload, and test it. And see, only limited records. When I click on position name, I can see only 2 records, Salesforce admin. Third record is missing. Why third record is missing? Because third record status is closed, and we have already applied a filter, or we have already placed a filter on lookup field, that if the position status is open, only those records will be visible in this lookup list. Get it? So like this way, we can add a lookup relationship. Now I got stuck with a new issue, and what's that? When I click on position name, when I click on this lookup field, I'm getting 2 as Salesforce admin. So right now we have 2 openings. We have 2 openings, both for Salesforce admin, but for different locations. One for Pune and one for Shanghai. But here, is it possible to identify that which position is for which location? Like which is for Pune location and which is for Shanghai location? Can we identify that? Can we easily differentiate?
At least with
No,
this
it
single
is
field
not.
value, you cannot.
Yeah, by single field it is not possible. But the issue is, how can we map it with other fields? It is not possible that I can add another lookup field map with the location, because location is not a standard field; it's a custom field. And like as I mentioned, the relationship field always map with the standard field, not with the custom fields. Get it? And it's not possible to display multiple fields, because it always connect with the standard field whose API name is name. So it's already connected. So it's not like that we can display more fields here. We can't. But definitely there must be a solution. And what's the solution? that instead of displaying the field names here, what I'll do, I search for, let's suppose I'm going to search for a record. See, it's like this actually. See, what I'm doing is I just type in here A, B, anything I just type and I say show all result. When I click on show all result, it will open a new window, and here I'm getting position name. Just imagine that if we can display more columns here, then because from here also we can select a record. But just imagine that if I display more columns here, will it be helpful? So will that be helpful to select the correct record?
Yes, yes. To show the another.
Definitely, definitely yes. But the question is, how do we show the values here? So in order to show this values, in order to display more columns, see this is a search layout. But what we are doing, we are searching record, and we will be searching record on a position object. So therefore, in order to customize this layout or this in order to customize this in this window or this layout, what we have to do, because this information is coming from position object, so therefore I open position object details, and here there is an option called search layout. This search layout, because this information is coming from the parent object. So from on the parent object properties, I select search layout, and in search layout, the first option is default layout, and by default it displayed which column only, position name. That's the position. Can we display more columns? Is it possible to edit this? So let's check it out. I click here and click on edit, and I can add more columns into that. So I just add position name, maximum pay, open date, status, functional area, job level. Clear? And click on save. So which setting we customize on like on parent object properties, we check these we customize the search layout, and within search we edit the default one. Now let's check it out. Let me close this and let me try again. I say show all results, and now you can see I will be able to preview more fields. And if I will be able to see more fields, access more fields, now this will help you to select the correct record, to identify the correct record, or to select the correct record. Will this be helpful now?
Yeah.
Definitely, this will
Yep.
be helpful. So like this, now like in this way, I can select. For example, if I want to apply for this location, I can select this. If I want to apply for this location, I will select this. This is the way we set up lookup relationship with the by customizing the search layout. This one. Now, same thing we have to do for the candidate object. So let me save this. Now I need again it's an incomplete record. Why? Because we got the I know that this job application is for this position, but who submitted this record? Which candidate submitted this record? So therefore, let's create a relationship field on job application again, and this time it is going to relate with candidate. Lookup.
Sumit, one question. Can we have different page this lookup layout for multiple entities?
Different layout for multiple entities means.
I mean, in the search layout, now we have added position related details, right? Max pay, min pay, and other things. Let's say on some other entity, I want to again create a master child relationship with position, but there I don't want to display the max pay, min pay information.
Definitely, why not? Okay, you're talking about that default one. You're talking about the different styles. No,
So
no, that
here
we
we have
can't because
selected default one.
no, 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 that we can't because that's a default one, and it is not possible to add a new one. We can't create another one, right? Because you see, when I switched there, when I opened that one, there was no option to create a there was no option to create another one. The default setting, it was we customize that, but we can't we can't customize that. That would be common for that would be common. The fields will be common for wherever we use that. wherever will we connect the child with the position as a parent object. And if you search, it will list out all the fields. Okay.
Okay.
I want
Because in our
fine.
application, we have such scenarios where we want to configure different search layouts, precisely when the
Yeah.
audiences are
Yeah.
different. Let's say,
But if you see search layout, we don't have any option to create a new one. We can only edit this, but we can't create another one default layout.
So what you're saying that search layout is not customizable by person to person. Let's say if the same person logged into that, he should display only few values. If other person logged into that, he should display some other different value. So
I
you're
got
saying that.
I got it. This cannot be personalized as per the based on the logged in user.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this will be common for all the logged in users,
Okay.
right? Okay. Now, if you would like to customize it, see that's the default one. But if you're talking about customizing based on the based as a based on the profile, you can do that. Not at the user level, but at a profile level. Here it is possible. If you have the profile, for example, for system administrator, we can customize that. So this is possible based on the system admin, based on the profile level, not at a user level. Okay. So you have to identify. You have to decide. Let's suppose, for example, I decide that for the standard user profile user, I would like to display these columns. If you are talking about that thing, that is possible based on a profile, not at a user level.
yeah, I mean, profile is nothing but a group of users, right? So I can
Group of
assign,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah. So profile level it is possible, but not at a user level. That's what I'm saying.
okay, okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is possible. So now let's get back and quickly add the relationship field. So we need to add one more relationship field with the candidate object. We are doing that. And now I'm going to quickly add a lookup relationship field with the on job application. It is going to relate with the candidate object. Why? Because for one candidate, we can have many job applications, or one candidate can submit many job applications. And on candidate object, the standard field whose field name is the candidate number. So therefore, I set the label as candidate number, and any filter, no filter. I would like to preview means I would like to display all the candidates information and click on next and next and next and save this. So it's done. Now let me check it out. So when I click on job application, or if I refresh job application, I would be able to see two lookup fields, one with position and one with candidate. So for position, we can select the position names, and if within candidate, we can select the candidate information. So I click on candidate number and I can add a candidate information. Let's say candidate number one. That means this job application will be submitted by position for the position Salesforce admin and by candidate number one. This is a lookup relationship. Now, uh, as for the if we talk about the differences, first of all, the first difference the first difference is lookup is not required by default. So, for example, if I do not add any candidate number, still the record gets saved because lookup is not required by default. Then deleting parent record in lookup relationship, it won't affect the child record. Now let's suppose I'm going to delete this candidate record. So I click on candidate number. See, right now we have candidate number and position of the job application number one. I click on candidate and let me remove this candidate number. I delete this record. I delete this record. And when I delete this record, if I delete this record, so what happened? Candidate record is deleted. Now, what will happen to the job application? The job application record also get deleted. Let's check it out. No, job application, the child record will be there. The only difference will be this field become blank because it was pointing to that candidate number one, and the candidate number one deleted successfully. So now it is not pointing to any of the field, any of the record. So we can re-point it to some other records. If we have more candidates, we can reconnect or we can re-point to other candidate records. Got it? Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm going to restore the record from the recycle bin. In Salesforce, we have a recycle bin. Whenever we delete any record in Salesforce, within Salesforce, it moves to the recycle bin. This is not a desktop one. This is a cloud. This is a Salesforce recycle bin, which is mapped with our Salesforce org. And if I want, I can restore the record from here. So deleted date, and this record was deleted. I select this record and click on restore. And when I do that, what happened? The record will be restored, and we got the job candidate details here. And now what we'll do, I just edit this and select the candidate number once again. Like this way, we can connect. Okay, like this way, we can configure lookup relationship. Clear? Now, my next business requirement is I can see candidate number, but in order to see the detail of this candidate number, okay, in order to see the detail, basically what I have to do is I have to click on the candidate number, and when I click on the candidate number, see, when I click on this candidate number, it will take me to the candidate number page, details section, and I can see the details as required. Okay, I can see the details as required. Now, if I would like to go back to the job application, now, okay, are you getting this much clear to you? Now, I would like to know, I would like to see that. Okay, let's suppose at any point of time, I would like to find out, I would like to know that one candidate submitted how many job applications with us, or for one position, how many job applications we have received. I would like to find out that. Okay, I would like to figure it out. So okay, so I would like to find out that how many job applications submitted by a candidate, or how many job applications for one, or how many job applications we have received for a particular position. How do we check that out? So for this, we need to navigate to related section for that particular record in that object. So I'm in candidate right now. It's a parent object, first of all. And in parent object, when I click on related, I will be able to see that this candidate submitted how many job applications. See, so one job application will be submitted by candidate number one. And like this way, whenever every time we add a new job application for a particular candidate, that will list out. Same thing on position object. Click on position object. I would like to know for the Salesforce, or like for a position, how many job applications. So click on a position name, related, and in related, I can see. So for this position, we haven't received any job application. If I want, we can add a new record from here also. That is also doable. Okay. Okay. Now, the next business requirement is we got this job application record. And in this job application record, I would like to display the candidate information. See, as I've told you that in order to see the details of the candidate, we need to click on candidate number, and we did that. And when we click on candidate number, what happened? It redirects us there. It opened that record, and we see that record, right? We can see the detail about that record. But what I want to do now, I would like to I would like to see the details. Basically, only two information. Okay, I'm very much interested in two information from the candidate object: the name and email ID. And every time for every job application, whenever I open job application, I need to find out the name and the candidate number for that particular job application, for that particular candidate. And in order to do that, I need to switch to the candidate record. But is there any possible way that we can display the candidate name and email ID on job application itself? And that candidate name and email ID will be depend on the candidate number. Okay, those, so the fields we are talking about, those two fields will be dependent on the candidate number. That means if the candidate number change, the value into those two fields will also change automatically. So the scenario I'm talking about here is that is called, okay, that scenario is called cross object formula. What do we call it? We call it as a cross object formula. We are talking about cross object. Yeah. What is a cross object? That cross object means that the information will be coming from the parent object, okay, from another object. And here the another of the another object is the parent object. So we'll be getting the information from the parent object, and where to display the information on child object. Okay. So we would like to fetch the details from the parent object and display the information on the child object. Got it?
Yeah.
So let's see how do we add a cross object formula, and where do we need where to add that formula, on candidate object or on job application object, like on a parent object or on a child object.
Child object, right? Child object
Child
level, we
object.
want to display.
Yeah, because on job application we would like to display the candidate information. So that means on on a child object, and job application is a child of candidate. Okay,
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
application is a child of candidate. So therefore, we will be going to add a field on job application in order to display the candidate name. And how do we do that? Let's see. So I click on, like, we are on job application. Click on new to add a new field. And here I select formula field. It's a formula field because we don't want to enter the value manually. We want to automate that. So formula, it's a read-only field. Click on next. Field label. I label this as candidate number. I labeled it as candidate name, not number, candidate name. It's a formula field, so obviously there should be a return type. So what type of value it is going to return? Candidate name is a text, it's a number, it's a phone. What type of value? It's a
Character,
text.
text.
Yeah, character, or we can, yeah, text. So I'm just going to select text here. Next, and here I need to add a formula. So because we are okay, and remember one thing, that candidate name will be depend on the candidate number. In future, if I change the candidate number, so the value in that field also, should change. So therefore, here I click on insert field. You can see there are two candidate numbers. There will be two candidate number. One candidate, so candidate number and candidate number. But the second candidate number contains one arrow, and that arrow indicates that there are more fields for this particular. We have more fields for this particular related one. So when I click on candidate number, see this, it lists me out fields from the candidate object, and from here I select name, full name, and just look at the formula. Candidate number. See, it's not showing candidate number underscore underscore C. It is showing candidate number underscore underscore R. Right. And moreover, candidate number is a standard field. It's a standard field. So the API name is name, but here it is showing candidate number. Okay, it is displaying candidate number. So it's a related field. What is it? It's a related field. So candidate number underscore underscore R, that's the relation, dot then the field which we would like to fetch, the field we want to track. So from there, I would like to display full name, and I'm doing it here. Full name. Click on next, 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 save and new, because I need one more field in order to display candidate email ID. So again, I select a formula field, next, and it should display email ID. But what will be the data type? We don't have the data. We don't have email ID data type. Then what should we select
Text,
here?
text only. Let's
Text
select.
only. Text only. Yeah, because we don't have the email field, but we have a text field. So text, and then the same process. And from here I select insert field, candidate number, and from here I select email ID. This is called a cross object formula. Okay, and remember one thing: the cross object formula always works between lookup and basically lookup and master. You can say it always works between the relationship, and the cross object formula always used to display the parent record on a child record. If you want, so if you want to display any parent information on a child object on a okay, so therefore we use this lookup. Then we use this cross object formula. Let me check this. So when I refresh this, so two fields will be added for us. Have a look. Two fields will be placed: the candidate name and email ID. And here it is. See, candidate name and email ID. Now, what I want to do is I would like to place these two fields in a different section. So on job application, page layout, and I'm going to quickly create a new section in job application. So job application, and click on yeah, I'm going to add a new section, and that section I'm going to place after details. So drag and drop the section, and I label that section as candidate details or candidate info. Okay, and I drag and drop the candidate name and email ID in this section. Save this and refresh. So just simple. Like this way, we work with cross object formula. Okay, this is a cross object formula. Okay, it's not yet updated. So basically, it takes some time to commit. Here it is okay, not in the preview one, but when we edit it, it's see this. And these fields will be depend on the candidate number. Let's suppose if I don't add any candidate number, if I leave it blank, then what happened? The name and email ID also blank. If I add a candidate number one, so these fields also get populated. And if I change the candidate number, if I replace the candidate number one with other number, some other number, maybe two or three or four, whatever numbers we have, whatever candidate numbers we have, so the value in this field, in these two fields, the name and email ID fields, will also get changed accordingly. So like this way, we will be going to work. This is cross object formula. Clear to all of you? Any question in this?
Right.
One thing, I
Thank you.
apparently I didn't got that well, Sumit. So we created a text field and then we added a formula. How did we add a formula on the text field?
It's not a text field. We created a formula field that was a return type. That what type of value that formula is going to return.
Okay.
Okay. For example, you have a programming idea, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's suppose if you create a function in programming. So let's suppose you have Java. You have idea about Java language. Any programming language.
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever we create a function, if I use
Mm-hmm.
void means no return,
No
Yeah.
return.
right? But if I use a string, so string means I can store name, I can store email, I can store any other character, any other value into that. The return type. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the value, so the field we select, the data type we select over there, the text, or we have number, or we have other field, the date. So those are what? Those are return type, not the field. That's a return type. The field is a formula field.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's a return type. That what type of value that formula field is going to hold.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it?
Sum,
Right.
yeah, Sumit, one question. So, Sumit, while establishing a relation, this cross-object formula, we are connecting that object name, right? So the object name is a candidate. So when we are
Hmm.
establishing connection, so we'll get the all the
Hmm.
objects. Now I can see the candidate, even the same I can see the position also, right?
Because you are on a job application, right?
Yes,
And
I'm on a
job application is related with two parent objects. How many parent objects for job application?
okay, two. We actually established two.
That's why
One is
in
the
a
position.
right. So when we create a formula, when we add a formula and when we want, okay. So if I create a formula, so there you will see, for example, see I'm on a job application. And if you look at here on job application, we got two lookup fields, one with candidate and one with position. So if I create a new formula here, new formula field, and let's suppose I select a formula. next, and I click on, for example, I just write here test, any name, and these are the return types, text, next. And now when I click on insert field, see, we got candidate number and we got position also, see this, position name. Because we have
Okay.
two, like, because this child object is related with two parent objects. So if,
Okay.
okay, and
Okay.
let's suppose if this job application is related with 20 parent objects. So all the 20 objects names will be listed out
Okay. Got it.
here. Get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a cross object formula. Now let's talk about the next business requirement, and that is called master detail relationship. And as I've already told you, the difference between lookup and master detail, that master detail is always required, number one. Number two, whenever we delete the parent record, it deletes all its associated records, all its, you can say all its related records, child record, you can say. And we can add only two master detail relationship field on a child object. Now, okay, tell me, let me answer your question. Let's suppose the employee information is there, and there is one table called attendance. Okay, there is one table called attendance table, and in that attendance table, we used to capture the employee attendance, right? In future, if the company delete the employee data from the database, for example, they completely remove the employee data from the database. What will happen to the what will happen to the attendance records? The records will
Uh,
remain in the system, or we should delete the attendance records also.
I mean, if we delete that orphanize, there is no meaning at all to keep that into system if the parent
That's
object is
right.
removed.
That yeah, so that means it should delete. Okay, and there's no point of keeping this. So are we going to do that operation manually by going like get to the attendance table and first search for all the record which map to that particular employee, then delete all the records one by one, or select all the record. If there is an option to bulk delete, we select all the records and delete, or else we want this to be done automatically.
Better to be
So do we
done
want a manual
automatically.
operation for that, or we want an automated?
Automated is the best.
Automated is the best, because in that case, just okay, because in manual it may possible that you may miss couple of records to delete, right? Because if you'll be doing manual operations, so there must be chances of errors.
Hmm.
So that's why we prefer to go with manual operations, sorry, automations. Okay. So this is a scenario of a master detail relationship. Now, in this case, you see there's a job application. Let's suppose a job application is submitted by a candidate for a particular position, and uh, now once the job application is submitted, that job application is shortlisted, and the interview begins. So obviously, it never happens that if you today we apply a job and tomorrow we like if I submit a job application today, it never happens that tomorrow I will get a job, right? First of all, I have to attend interview rounds. I need to give interviews, right? And let's suppose there are three rounds. Okay, for example, there are three rounds, and after three rounds, it will be decide whether I will be shortlisted or not. For example, after three rounds, the company will decide based on the performance. It will be decided that whether I will be shortlisted, the company will hire me or not. I will be shortlisted for the final round or not, final selection. So first of all, we have to keep track for all those you can say for all those reviews. So after every interview round, there are reviewers, and the reviewers will give some reviews. So we would like to track those reviews. Number one. Number two, in future, if the in future if we delete the record, let's suppose if we remove the job application from the database, what will happen to those related records? So those related records should remain in the system, or we need to delete those related records. What to do with those records? With the child record which is related to the job application. If I delete this record permanently, what should happen to those records? So those records should also get deleted automatically. So this is a scenario of master detail relationship. So like this way, whenever you build a relationship, or whenever you get a chance to, or whenever you have been assigned a task to build a relationship, so first thing you have to identify this. Okay, first thing you have to identify that which is a parent object, which is a child object, number one, and then you have to identify what type of relationship is required here, lookup relationship or master detail relationship, and then okay, if this is a okay, then you have to decide okay if this is a parent object, so the relationship field will be on that, and if it is like in future if you are going to delete the record, then what? So basically, every point we have to keep in mind while working with relationships. Okay, so while working on a relationship, we have to keep all these things in our mind. Get it?
Yep. Yep.
Uh, So with one question.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay. So in objects, like, we have a position, account, contact, all these are objects, right? So is this object, do we have any differentiator, like these are kind of transactional objects, master object? Do we have any such identifier? Is there anything there in
No,
that
no, no.
object level?
There is no such identification over there because if you open the object properties, you won't found any such identifications. In descriptions, you can add. If you want, you can
Okay.
add it in a description. But you
Oh,
can add the description only in your custom object. In the standard object, we don't have an option.
right. In generally any CRM application, accounts and contact, these are master data, like, kind of stand
Right.
when activities, opportunity, all are transactional entities. I mean, transactional objects,
Hmm.
right? So I'm
Right.
just asking in Salesforce, do we have such identifier like this is in a master
Yeah,
object?
we actually we have all these objects, but we don't have we don't have any what do you say that there is no identification thing that okay this is the one. So because if a person knows CRM, so he knows the standard functionalities of a CRM. So whatever functionality we have in one CRM, same will be applicable here.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm,
So whatever transactional objects you know in other CRM, the same transactional object you will find in Salesforce also. But okay, but like if you talk about any other CRM, it's not mentioned over there. This is a parent object. This is a child object. This has been told us, and based on our experience, we figure it out,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Based
Ah,
on our
right.
experience and based on based. Yes,
Okay,
Manu.
Simon.
What do
Yeah,
you think?
got it. No, no. So in other CRMs, like in the all master data, we map it into one standard table. So such we have one identifier. I'm just looking, is there any, identifier in Salesforce also?
Okay, okay, okay. I got that. No. So, like that should be added in a description or something so that can be identified easily.
Mhm. Okay.
Right? Right. So now, so what we need to do now, I need to create one object, and that object I'm going to relate with the job application. So let me quickly create a new custom object, and that object I labeled as, I'm going to label that object as, let's say, I'm considering that we'll be going to give reviews. Reviews means the you can say the ratings after interview. So I label this as review and review number. It's an auto number and auto number are starting with 1. And this time I'm not going to use this option. Okay, and I'm not going to add, I don't want to add a tab here. Reason, if I want to find out the related reviews for a particular job application, instead of navigating to an object here, I would be more happy to check the reviews by going into the job application. So I just click on the job application and in related, I would like to find out that okay, for this job application, these are the reviews. I don't want to add an object here. Otherwise, see, it's not like that we can't add it, but if we add an object here, that would be an extra overhead to you can say that would be an extra overhead to find out, to filter out the records, because we might have thousands, we might have hundreds and thousands of reviews for, okay, for every job application we may have two, let's suppose 2 or 3 reviews, and there are many job applications, so we have a lot of records and we have to filter records explicitly. We have to filter a particular record explicitly. Instead of that, what we'll do, I navigate to job application. I open the particular job application for whom I would like to check the details. Click on related and I can check it from here. So therefore, I am not going to launch this tab wizard. So the object will be created. And now I'm going to relate this object with the, okay, I'm going to relate this object with the job application. So fields and relationship, it's the review is a child object. Again, for one job application, we can add multiple reviews. We can give multiple reviews for one job application. So review is a child object, new, and I'm going to add, this time I'm going to use master detail relationship, next, and related object, job application. Parent object is the job application number, always required, next. It's always needed. See this, all the fields are always visible, means it's checked. So we can't skip it. Next, let me add 2 more fields quickly. Okay, 2 more fields I'm going to add quickly here. One field is a number field. It's a number field. I want to track the ratings, the reviews, you can say the ratings. 2 digits, always required. 2 digits means between 0 to 10. The ratings will be 0 to 10, or the reviews given by the interviewer will be between 0 to 10. And one more field I add as a comment. That's a text field. Let's suppose if I have been given, being an interview, if I give less points. So why I'm giving less points? What's the reason? Why I'm giving less points? So there must be a reason for that. So I need to add my reason. So I just use text area and label this as comments. Next. So it's a simple process. Now let's check it out. First of all, when I refresh, the object is created, but this object is not placed in the navigation bar. See this. I don't have this review object over there next to the job application. But if I click on job application, click on related, and click on review, see, we are getting the review object. And when, if you want, we can give a new review, click on new, and we can add rating as 6. Save this. Simple. So now what happened here? We successfully assign a review to a job application. That for this job application, we assign 2 reviews. Sorry, we give 1 review right now. We can add multiple reviews. We can add multiple reviews to this job application. Clear? And in future, in future, if I delete this job application, what happens? It will automatically remove all its related reviews also. So we don't have to delete the reviews manually. Those reviews will get deleted automatically, which is mapped to that particular job application. So it's a master detail relationship. And as I've told you that it is always needed. So when we click on a review, whenever we add a new review, it always wants us to provide the job application number. For example, when I click on new, see, we always have to provide a job application number. If I try to skip this, I just add 4 and I try to skip this and try to save this. See this. Always required. Cannot skip this. This is master details relationship. Get it? This is a master detail relationship. Okay, everyone?
Yep.
So the difference between the lookup and master detail, and as I told you that while setting up a relationship, it is very important to decide whether we'll be going to add a lookup relationship or a master detail relationship, and why do we want to do that? Okay, it is very important to decide to identify the correct relationship. See, if you are a developer, or if you have been assigned to complete this task, So the Salesforce BA will share a document, and the Salesforce BA will Salesforce BA will document everything. So whatever documentation you will receive, in that documentation, it will be mentioned that you have to build a lookup relationship or master detail relationship, and you may also get the field names also, that we want to label it as this or we want to label it as that. So this will be the parent object, and it should be labeled as this. So you will get the details. But just in case if you will be deciding it by yourself, okay, if you have to decide it by yourself, then we need to know this. We should know about this. Great. So yeah, guys. So let's stop it here for the day. As I've told you that I have to step out. So when we connect on Wednesday, we'll talk about. There is one more thing left in this master detail relationship, and that is called roll up summary field. So we'll talk about roll up summary field and many to many relationship on Wednesday in our Wednesday session. So
Roll
meanwhile,
off MVP.
practice whatever. Sorry, what?
Roll off MVP, you're saying?
Roll up summary.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, roll up summary field. This I'm talking about. When I click on job application here, fields and relationship. So there's a field for this one I'm talking about. Roll up summary.
Okay.
You can try to explore this little bit if you get time. Otherwise, I'll tell you this in our next session. I'll explain this in our next session.
Yeah. Tomorrow, do we have session or no?
Okay.
On Wednesday?
No, on Wednesday. Tomorrow we don't have session.
Okay.
Right? Or yeah, so yeah, fine then. We'll connect. We'll catch up on Wednesday, or else for tomorrow. Yeah, or just in case if I get any update by today evening for the tomorrow, I'll keep you posted in the group.
Okay. Okay.
Keep it- so keep you